there! Welcome to the first ever edition of Tees for Togo TV. I'm Kathleen Hanna. I'm a musician. I've been in the bands Les Tigres, The Julie Ruin, and currently Bikini Kill. So what is Tees for Togo? Tees for Togo is a sweatshop-free t-shirt company that I started 2 years ago. And each shirt that we sell sends a girl to school for a year in Togo, West Africa. We've got shirts of Chuck D from Public Enemy, Kristen Shaw, Joan Jett, Carrie Brownstein from Slater-Kinney and Portlandia, King Adrock from the Beastie Boys, Kim Gordon, Justin Vivian Bond, Grimes, the amazing and talented Joey Soloway. There's a shirt of me. Brontes Purnell, Patton Oswald, JD Sampson, W. Kamau Bell, one of my favorite shirts, FYI, and my favorite comedian, Hurry Kanabolu. So what's the deal? Why a TV show? Well, everybody involved in this project that I've just, been in contact with is so interesting, and I want to know more, because one of the ways that I keep engaged in doing activist work is making it fun for myself. So I decided to interview everybody involved, all of the artists and all of the activists. And today I will be interviewing Tina Kampor. Tina is the founder of Peace Sisters and the inspiration behind Tees for Togo. When I met Tina and I found out about her mission and what she's trying to do to make sure that the girls and young women in her hometown have education, which means options, I was so inspired that I started going to board meetings and throwing parties. And eventually I settled on the idea of starting a t-shirt company to raise funds for Peace Sisters. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you Tina Kampor. Tina, what was the inspiration behind starting Peace Sisters?
When I started teaching in Togo, I noticed that the struggle was there. For example, the first day of school, you see girls and boys, probably even number sometime. And then 2 months later, they were sent home for the tuition. And usually the boys come back and the girls, they never came back again. And that's something that really bothers me. What really let me start this project was one day I was in school and I saw a girl was on the floor in a classroom. And my principal asked me, it was noontime, they're supposed to go home. And we see a white shirt in a classroom, but on the floor. So my principal asked me to go check. So when I got there, I saw a very young girl was sick with a high fever. And so I have to take her home. So back then I have a motorcycle and my principal asked me if I can drop her off at home. So I took her and she showed me the way and we got to her home. And then it was just heartbreaking. I just don't know how to describe her home. It was two little like cottages, two little small house without, one didn't have a roof and the other have a half roof. And she was living there with her grandma. And I was shocked. For me, it was just like a place where they can trash things. I didn't know somebody would live there. So I'm like, this is your home? And she said, yes. At the same time, I saw the grandma was coming out from the half roof building. So I said, okay, I'm gonna send my sister here with some medication. And that's what I did. I went home and I grabbed some food and medication and I sent my younger sister to her. So after that, she got better. She came to my parents' home where I was to thank me. And since then, I said, well, come here for food and everything you need. And I start helping her with school supplies and uniform and, So by the time I know, every time she come with one friend. So I started helping 2 and 3 and 4. And unfortunately, I got the opportunity to come to United States. So I think there were about 6 when I left. So I have so many sadness in my heart when I was leaving. So that was one of them. So I kind of promised to continue the work. So in Pasadena, I didn't continue right away. I waited 2 years and I started sending money again for them. So basically, that's how Peace Sister was born.
Besides providing tuition, Peace Sisters is also, looking at other obstacles that some of the students have. Can you talk about what some of those obstacles are? Let's start with the solar lights, like how that was an obstacle, and then how you figured out how to overcome it.
One of the obstacles is they don't have a light. So that's where we talk about it in a board, and we were trying to see how can we find lights for girls. So, and we find a Rotary Club in Santa Barbara, Carpinteria. We took a first 100 lights back in Togo, and it was a life change. We saw that the grade changed immediately. The lights we got here in Carpinteria, it's a very kind of tiny, small book, the one you clip your book and you read. So back home, they have also a solar light, which is a bowl. It's a bigger light. It can, you can see the whole room or the whole yard with it. So we bought both of them and we told the girls to try them. A lot of them prefer the bigger light because they're not gonna only study with that. When it's on, the family also can take advantage of that to, work in a kitchen, or also if you have a siblings, everybody can sit in a room and have access to the light.
So what about one of the other obstacles I know that was introduced at a board meeting that I was at was IDs and young women not being able to move on to college because, or university, they didn't have ID, and that the ID is extremely hard and expensive to get.
The problem comes in when they finish all of the high school, they're ready to go to university, then they need an ID because they need to have, their transcript and everything. They don't have any. So everything becomes zero. And a lot of them drop out at that time too, because they don't have ID. So it looks easy, but it's extremely difficult. Difficult because you need money and they don't have it. You need to travel from one place to another place. They can. So some people just let it be and that's it. That's end of them. So we noticed that a lot of our girls are in that situation. So we tackle it. And people in the ground right now are working on it. We were able to have 137 ID ready, and we still have a lot.
I know one of the things that you're working on is a sanitary napkin
Yes.
initiative. Could you talk a little bit about that?
It's not just a tuition, $40 and bye-bye, or here's your school supplies and bye-bye. You have to look the whole picture. You need a light to study. You really need an ID, or you don't get into university. And, they're girls. And some of them, they're over 16, they have their period. And most of the girls stay home during their period because they don't know how to, protect themselves in a classroom. So they rather stay home. They get shame, in school. So we started offering them a pad, sanitary pad, so they don't have to miss class. So it's a whole picture. It's a holistic. You have to look the whole thing and see what will help them and go to school.
So why do you think it's important that girls get educations?
When you help one girl, you're helping a whole family. The girls, the way I look at it and the way I'm being observing families and all of that, the girls always come back home. The girls always watch out for everybody in the family. Some boys are okay too, but most of the time, women always reach out to other people easier. So for me, if I can get as much as I can, girls in school, the poverty will diminish.
Could you give a message to all the Tees for Togo customers who have bought a shirt or donated?
First, I want to thank Kathleen, Hanna. It's been a blessing to meet you. I know I have the idea for a long time, but I wouldn't be able to be at the level we are today without you putting your effort and your work into this. T4 Togo really put this project ahead. The t-shirt that people are buying, you would think it's just a simple t-shirt. No, the money goes to a girl who wouldn't be able to go to school. It just transformed the girl's life. So for that, I want to really thank each one of your fans. I know you have a lot of fans on the social media. I just want to thank all of them that everything, every t-shirt they buy, that's where the money go through. And I pledged before at your house to donors that their money would be very much well used. And I will always do that because I think if we're raising the money should go exactly to the girls and help them.
Tina, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. And thanks to all the viewers who watched the very first Tees for Togo TV episode. There will be more. If you want to know more about Peace Sisters, go to www.peacesisters.org. If you can donate $5, $10, $1,000, whatever you can donate, it is a massive help. Or buy a shirt or 10 from teesfortogo.com or check us out on Instagram. Thank you. See you in a couple weeks.